in the middle of the road, wasn't it?
That is correct.
And you said one of the witnesses said he literally just heard screeching, the car came to a stop, and the man just jumped out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So other than the fact that there was a trip for the light bulbs, which were tossed in the car, was there anything other significant that you think he intentionally didn't tell you about?
Well, except leaving his son in the car.
Well, I mean, he told you he left his son in the car, right?
And I will give you that. No.
On Monday night of this week, some of your detectives executed a search warrant at the home of Ross's wife, correct?
That's correct. And if I may, for the previous answer I gave, he also failed to tell us anything about the sexting, for lack of a better term.
All right. Well, did you ask about that?
I did not.
Okay. Well, he didn't mislead you or lie about it, did he?
No. He just forgot or left out.
And if, in fact, that's got absolutely nothing to do with this accident whatsoever, then it's not relevant, is it?
I believe it is relevant.
Okay. Executed a search warrant Monday night of this week.
Yes, we did.
Okay, at the home of Ross.
Yes.
And in that search warrant, you were specifically looking to see if there were any light bulbs out.
Correct.
Okay? And you sent 3 detectives in there, and in fact, they reported back to you that sure enough, there were 3 light bulbs out in Leanne's vanity, right?
That's correct.
And these weren't just regular light bulbs. These were these round globe vanity type bulbs, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's exactly the kind of light bulb that was sitting in the front seat of Ross's car, right?
They're very similar.
Just where he tossed them.
Yes, sir.
And you've reviewed the video from when Ross's friends brought him back into that parking lot and dropped him off at his car, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've spoken to his friends about that event as well, right?
That's correct.
And neither one of those men told you that Ross was trying to prevent them from looking in the car or driving too close to the car or getting out or anything of that nature?
No.
They just dropped him off?
Yes, sir.
Right there at his car?
Correct.
There's tinted windows in the back passenger area of that truck, right?
Yeah, it's factory tint. It's not very dark.
So on this video, of Ross getting out of his friend's vehicle, it's just a couple of feet from his, right?
True.
And on this video, you can see him get out, and he walks over to his car. And does he have a clicker that he unlocks the door with?
I would assume so.
Okay. Well, you saw the video. He didn't stick the key in there and open it, did he?
Well, he walks up to it, and it's not that clear, but
Okay.
you can see him walking up there.
In the warrant from June the 24th, you make some specific statements about that event in the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
You say, during lunch, said accused did access the same vehicle through the driver's side door to place an object into the vehicle. Said accused then closed the door and left the car, re-entering his place of business, right?
True.
So in that video, you didn't see him get into that car. You didn't see him look around in that car. You didn't see him grab anything out of the glove box. You didn't see him pick anything up off the floor. You didn't see him look in the back seat? You didn't see him look over the back seat? You didn't see him looking around? See if anybody was watching? You didn't see any of that on that video, did you?
Not at the car.
Okay. Because if you'd have seen it in the video, it would have been in the warrant, right?
Possibly.
He just tosses the light bulbs in, closes the door, and walks away.
Yes, sir.
The car seat in Ross's car that we've seen in that photograph is a rear-facing car seat.
Correct.
It's in the middle of the back seat.
Correct.
So if he's on the driver's side, that car seat would be behind him to his right.
Correct.
Did you ever ask Ross if he had any sort of physical limitations which might impair his ability to see or hear Ross or anything like that?
He said he had no medical conditions.
Okay. Did you ask him what medical conditions he had?
I asked him if he had any medical conditions, or if he was under the care of a physician, I think is my exact words.
Let's be exact. You asked him if he was under the care of a physician.
I don't have my notes here in front of me, sir, so
Okay.
we're going to say...
All right. Well, I'm going to restate my question then. I apologize. Did you ever ask him directly if he had any kind of physical limitations which might impair his ability to see or hear his job?
Not directly.
Okay. Would that be something that would be relevant to your investigation?
No.
It would not. If he had a physical limitation, that would not be relevant to your investigation.
If he had a physical limitation, he couldn't be operating a motor vehicle. You have to be able to turn and see your rear view mirrors. You have to be able to operate that vehicle.
Okay. Would you be surprised to know that Ross is completely deaf in his right ear? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Do you think that he intentionally kept that from you?
I don't know.
During the interview, Ross, I believe your testimony was that he told you that he had done some research.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are those your words or his words? Did he actually say he did research?
No.
Okay, so those are your words.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that what Ross told you was he couldn't believe that this had happened to him because he had just seen a story on Fox 5 about the governor's Look Again campaign?
No.
He did tell you that?
No.
Okay. Are you aware of the governor's Look Again campaign that was instituted on May the 27th of this year to bring awareness to the leading cause of non-traffic vehicular deaths of children in the U.S.? Are you aware of that campaign?
No.
And you're saying Ross never told you...
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
Did his wife tell you she was aware of that campaign?
No.
I want to ask you a little bit about, you've indicated there this messaging that's going on KIK. Is it KIK?
Yes, sir.
And you've got these records and times because it was on Ross's phone?
It's on several pieces of
Okay.
equipment.
Do you have the specific times that this messaging occurred?
Not with me.
Well, can you tell us the first time during the day that the messaging occurred?
No.
Well, did it occur after Ross had gotten out of his car and gone into Home Depot?
I don't recall, sir.
If you had information as part of this investigation that Ross had been doing this kind of fantasy texting or whatever, and he had been doing it prior to getting into his office building, that would be something you probably would remember, right?
No. There's so much information that we have to go through. It's only been a week and a half. I am still processing all the information. Yes, it will be very pertinent once I get the times and everything locked down. Information is sketchy on some. It's on some computers and it's not on others. It looks like he deleted it from his phone, but then we'll find it on another computer. So we're still compiling all our information.
And that's hardly remarkable that you would delete something like that from your phone, is it?
No.
I want to ask you about these other videos that you mentioned. You said something about, well, let me ask you first about this information. It's your testimony that Ross and his wife were having financial problems?
Correct.
Okay. And your testimony is that she told you that?
She did.
Okay. She used the words, "We're having financial problems."
Well, when I asked her about financial difficulties, she said, no more than other people, but Ross handles all those.
Okay. So Ross and his wife both told you they were not having financial difficulties?
Well, she stated like other people, as in everybody has financial difficulties, so no.
Okay. All right. Well, their checkbook is not overdrawn, is it?
I don't know. I haven't received those records yet.
Okay. Well, you've been through all their mail during the search warrant procedure. You didn't see anything where any creditors were after them, did you?
I wasn't present there, sir.
Okay. Well, did your detectives report back to you anything of that nature?
No, they did not.
All right. So,
Give me 1 second, please.
for you, Bob, yes. I just want to know, is there any specific piece of information to confirm what your testimony was on direct, that these people were having financial problems or financial difficulties?
Just when I brought it up, Ross stated that they had recently brought up, $4,000, credit card. And she had stated that they were having problems like everybody else, or difficulties like everybody else.
All right. So it's fair to say the answer is no. You don't have any specific information that they're having financial difficulties?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay. They both have jobs.
Correct.
They make what, a car payment or two? And
I have not received any of their financial information.
okay. Let me apologize, because I thought that I heard during your direct examination that your information was that these people were having financial difficulties.
And I
If
think
that's not
I've
what-
answered,
Don't talk over each other. When he finishes talking, you can talk, and vice versa. You finished with your question, Mr. Kilgore?
I am.
and I think I've answered that, Mr. Kilgore, several times now.
All right. So you've done some forensic review of Ross's computers from Home Depot. Is that the 11-0?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is this where you observed some viewing of videos on the Reddit site?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that Reddit is a site that Ross has on his computer a lot.
Yes.
and it's kind of like a social media clearinghouse. People can post videos and stories and all kinds of things.
That'd be correct.
It's fair to say that he's clicked and looked at videos and stories on dozens and dozens and dozens of different topics.
Correct.
And one of those topics that you say that he clicked on at some point was something called child free?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when was that?
April
April?
2014.
Okay. And this isn't something that he typed in researching. It's just something that he clicked on that was up on that site, right?
It's the site that he went to. I don't know how he was directed to it.
Okay. So you don't have any evidence that he actually typed in a Google search or a Reddit search or anything for child free.
True.
He testified that, I believe your testimony was that he searched on how to survive prison.
True.
Okay. Was that off the Reddit site?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Was that a specific Google search? I mean...
Yes.
Okay, you're saying that was actually typed in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When was that typed in?
I don't have that date yet.
All right. So that could have been a year ago for all you know.
I don't know.
Well, y'all have looked way back, haven't you?
He says
Well,
he
we
doesn't
just
know.
started.
Okay. And you said Ross told you that he was he had some law enforcement experience and that he worked in 911.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In dispatch. What's his
All right.
name?
In dispatch, and he said he worked there for a couple of years.
5 years, I believe.
Right. And when you work law enforcement like that or work 911, you learn how to call out letters by military style by words, right?
True.
So if this is something that he would have done regularly as part of his job, that's not necessarily remarkable, is it?
I believe it was remarkable in the setting that it occurred in.
Okay. Have you talked to any of Ross's friends or colleagues to find out if he talks that way all the time?
I have not.
You said he watched a TV show regarding an advocate who lost a child.
True.
When was that?
I don't know.
Don't know?
Don't know.
Okay. Do you know the name of the show?
Do not.
Do you know where he watched it?
Do not.
Okay. Was it on TV or a computer?
I believe TV.
He testified in direct that Ross said that he learned about turnaround.
Yes, sir.
All right. What does that mean? Or what did it mean to you?
What it meant to me is the turnaround program where, they advocate turning around and checking to see if there's any child in the car.
You think it's possible that what he was talking about there was the Look Again campaign that
Objection, speculation, and affirmation.
Sustained.
The video that you said that was from a veterinarian,
Yes, sir.
that posted up on Reddit on June the 13th.
I don't know when.
Okay.
Oh, he read it. I'm sorry. I don't know when it was posted,
Okay.
but he accessed it on June the 13th, 2014.
Okay. And it's fair to say that you know with all certainty that's not something that he Googled or searched out. It was simply a story that was a video that was posted up on that site, right?
No, I can't say that.
But that's the site he saw it from, Reddit?
No, I'm not sure if it was Reddit or YouTube.
Okay. Because that video was actually shared on YouTube and on Facebook and several other places, right?
Yeah, when I watched it on YouTube.
Okay. You said that you were able to tell that he watched it twice.
Yes, sir.
What were the two times that he watched it?
I don't have the times.
Okay.
I know the date of the first one
Okay.
was June 13th. I don't know the date of the second one yet.
Okay. Could it have been the same day?
Possibly.
Okay. Could it have been that he got called away from his desk at work and came back and hit resume to play the balance of it?
I don't know.
But it could be.
I would not say that.
Okay. If there were two different times, that might account for it though, right?
Objection, ask and answer.
Sustained.
Okay. Leanna was first, Ross's wife was first interviewed at Home Depot at the Treehouse location.
Sure.
Who did that interview?
Detective Stockinger,
By himself?
Detective Racy was with him.
That's the one I can't spell. Okay. Was that interview recorded?
I believe so.
Okay. On audio?
Just audio. It is recorded. It's audio alone.
Okay. Were they the ones that told Leanna that Cooper was deceased?
Yes.
And you learned that she had actually gone to Little Aprons to pick Cooper up
Yes.
and discovered there that he wasn't there. Correct. And somebody from Little Aprons then accompanied her to try to find out what was going on.
True.
Who was that person?
He goes by TJ. And I'd have to refer back to my notes. I believe his first name's Terrell.
And have you interviewed TJ?
I have.
Has anybody? You have?
I have.
You did interview TJ?
Oh, yes.
What did he tell you?
TJ stated that he was at the front desk. Leanna came up there and stated that she couldn't find Cooper. She made that comment to him, saying that Ross must have left him in the car. He could be no other place. That time, TJ's like, there's a million places he could be. Have you tried calling him? She's like, it's going straight to voicemail. They went ahead and she's like, well, can you come with me over to his work? They got in the car. It was her car. And they drove over to the treehouse.
And Leanna confirmed, in fact, that it was a fear of hers.
Yes.
And you recall if she told Racy or Stockinger or anybody else that she had just seen the Fox 5 story on Look Back?
I can't answer that, sir. I don't believe so.
People have all kind of fears, right? This was hers. That's what she told you.
She stated this was a fear of hers.
You knew that it was a forward-facing car seat. You knew that it was a rear-facing car seat, right?
True.
Okay. Did she tell you that Ross had been using a forward-facing car seat until very recently?
No. What she told me was, or actually is what Ross was told me, is that the car seat they're using they've had since birth. 6 weeks ago, they bought the forward-facing car seat. Leanna went to Alabama a couple weeks back. They swapped out car seats again. So Ross had been using the rear-facing car seat for the last couple weeks.
He had been using a rear-facing the last couple of weeks?
Yes, sir.
Prior to that, there was about a month, though, where he was using the forward-facing car seat, up until about a week before this happened, right?
2 weeks before this happened. And the day previously, he used that rear-facing car seat.
All right. Have you looked at her cell phone, that being Ross's wife's cell phone, chat box yet?
Just the stuff that she's downloaded to her computer.
Okay.
Judge has already said he hasn't looked at her phone or her chat log.
Well, is there an objection?
Objection. Speculation. And no foundation.
I'd ask you to be it, Judge.
Well, I mean, he's answered the question. I don't know. He's getting ready to apparently show him something here. Have you shown it to Mr. Bourne?
I have, Judge.
Is
I
it
don't know
going
if that's the same picture from seeing it.
You've certainly seen Ross's chats on his phone, right?
Once again, sir, there are so many. It's been very sporadic. I've not had time to absorb all the information.
Okay. I'm going to approach you then with Exhibit 1 and just ask if you've seen this one.
I have not.
You have not?
I have not.
Okay. Would it be relevant to your investigation to find out that at 3:16 on June the 18th, Ross had texted his wife, "When you going to get my buddy?" That'd be relevant.
Oh, it's very relevant.
Okay. And you've had his phone, but you haven't seen that.
No. The last actual text message, if that is a text message, was back in May. If that's a Kik or IM or Google Chat, or I don't know where that came from, then yeah, that's probably still in there.
Okay. Judge, I think I'm about finished here. Thank you.
Can you redirect?
Most apologize, Judge, no.
Do you have a estimation of the time frame from the time that the defendant entered his vehicle at the end of the workday until he made the stop where witnesses observed him removing the child from the car?
5 or 6 minutes.
And what was the normal routine of who would take the child normally to daycare?
Normally, Ross would take the child to daycare.
So that was his routine.
Yes, sir.
And was it a routine for the wife to pick the child up?
They split. Out of the last 9 times, Ross has taken the child to daycare 6. He took it the Tuesday previously. And it was like 4 and 5. They split the duties, bring them home.
All right. And did the wife, did she work out of the home or work somewhere else?
No. She worked as a dietitian out of the home.
Out of the home.
Yes, sir.
So she could come and go at whatever schedule was convenient for her.
I would assume so, sir.
All right, so you may step down.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Anything else on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any evidence you wish to present, Mr. Kilgore, as to probable cause?
Yes, sir. We'll call a few witnesses, Judge, and I promise you I'm going to move through these as quickly as I can.
Okay, and these are relevant to probable cause?
They are.
All right.
We'll call Leonard Madden.
Step right up there, sir.
Raise your right hand for me, please. You do so solemnly swear on the testimony you're about to present today before this court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Madden, pull that mic over in front of you, please.
Certainly.
Can you tell the court who you are, and if you don't mind spelling your first and last name?
Certainly. Leonard Madden, Leonard
Thank you, Mr. Madden. And if you could just briefly just tell us what area you work in.
The Ashford Dunwoody area?
Say again?
Ashford Dunwoody?
Ashford Dunwoody area.
Yes.
All right. On June the 18th, that afternoon, did you have reason to be in the Acres Mill area of Cobb County?
Not particularly, but I was there for lunch.
Okay. And where'd you have lunch?
A restaurant called Cinco's.
And can you recall about what time you had lunch?
It was after 2. I'd been there for a while.
Okay. And did you have any alcohol at lunch?
No, sir, I don't drink.
All right. Can you tell the court if you observed anything unusual or remarkable when you came out of Cinco's?
Indeed, my associate, my friend, it appeared that she was crying. So, of course, I approached to ask what the matter was, thinking that she would, of course, say something was just in my eye. She believed that someone had a heart attack and they weren't breathing. And when I looked into the direction that she was speaking and pointing towards, I went closer to see for myself what was going on.
Okay. What did you observe?
I saw a figure, but I wasn't able to tell from where I was walking who it was or the age. But when I got closer, I thought it was a doll. And about 3 or 4 feet away, I noticed that it was the body of a toddler. Right then, my heart dropped because I saw this precious boy laying there, lifeless.
Okay. Did you see anybody as you were walking toward him? Tell us what you saw as you were walking.
The father, Mr. Ross, had just given his child CPR, and about 2 other people came near to assist. As I got closer, you could just hear his cries and his desperation for his son to be revived.
Okay. What did you hear him say?
Well, he was saying, oh my God, my son is dead. Oh my God, my son is dead.
And did he say it matter-of-factly or plainly like you're speaking, or was it with any particular inflection?
It sounded as though he was saying it out of hurt and disappointment, out of desperation.
Was he screaming?
He was yelling, he was hollering, he was screaming, much as I would in the event I were in that situation.
And did you observe him sobbing, crying, anything of that nature?
All of that.
Say again?
All of that. He was crying, he was hollering, yes.
Okay. And if you could express to the judge kind of what Mr. Harris's demeanor was during this crying and screaming, could you characterize that for the judge?
Certainly.
What you observed?
Well, Your Honor, he was in total disarray, much as I'm sure anyone here would be in the event they were in that situation, as I would be.
Well, just tell us what you observed.
He was standing there, he was walking around, he was looking up in the sky, and he was just saying, oh my God. He was screaming, he was very hurt. And
Speculation.
Yes, sir. You going to tell us what you saw and what you heard.
I heard the desperate cries of a father who had just lost his son.
Well, you're characterizing things. Just tell us specifically what words you heard.
He was saying, oh my God, my son is dead. Oh my God, my son is dead.
And how close were you to Mr. Harris while this was going on?
I was roughly about 3 or 4 feet away from him.
How many?
3 or 4 feet, sir.
30 to 4?
3 to 4.
3 to 4?
Yes, sir.
3 or 4 feet away?
3 to 4, yes, sir.
And were you aware if there was anyone calling 911?
I can't say for certain, but I did see people that were there. They were on their phones, and he got on his phone, but I can't say matter-of-factly that they were calling 911 or anyone in particular.
Did you hear anyone yell, "Call 911"? Somebody call 911.
No.
And did you observe any sort of encounter between? First of all, how long were you there before police arrived?
I would say 20, 30 minutes.
All right. And when they got there, what happened?
Well, of course, they immediately came to the child, to Cooper, and they checked for vitals, things of that sort.
You don't know Mr. Harris?
No, sir.
You've never seen him before that afternoon?
No, sir.
Okay. And did you see the police officers interacting with Mr. Harris, asking him to do anything, dealing with him in any way?
Initially, they went to the child,
Okay.
and they were checking for vitals, after which Mr. Cooper, or pardon me, Mr. Ross, of course, he was coming closer to his son to view, and they wanted him to keep his distance.
Okay. What happened?
One of the officers raised her voice to him for him to stay back, and he told her to shut up. And
He cursed at her?
yes,
Okay. And what happened then?
two officers, they approached him aggressively, and they put handcuffs on him.
All right. And did they put him in the back of a police car?
They did.
All right. And how far away was it from where the child was on the ground?
I'd say it was at least 100 feet.
400 feet?
100,
Oh, 100 feet.
yes.
Okay. And did you stick around the scene and make a statement to police?
I did. It was a short statement to I believe he said he was a homicide detective. I also spoke with two officers that were in uniform briefly, but they wanted to get our information, names and numbers, things of that sort.
Okay. And did you tell them what you are telling us in court today?
Not in depth. I told them that I was there. I walked up and saw what was going on. I saw Mr. Ross. I saw his son laying there lifeless, and others were assisting him or trying to give CPR, and that he was reacting, I'd say normally, to a situation of this magnitude.
Okay. And did it appear to you that it was genuine distress and grief on his part?
It was definitely genuine and very passionate and organic. I felt his pain. I even wept and mourned his son, and I've never met him.
All right. Thank you.
Sir, you spoke with the police at the scene, correct?
Yes, sir.
While this was fresh in your mind.
Yes, sir.
And you told them what you saw and experienced on that day, correct?
Yes, sir. Briefly.
When was the next time that you actually told this story to somebody?
My friend and I spoke about it in the car briefly.
Okay. And when did you actually tell someone else about it?
I spoke with a reporter.
Okay.
They wanted to interview me.
So you knew there was media interest, correct?
I did not at the time that I gave my information.
Well, when they talk to you obviously a media outlet's calling you. You know that they have some interest in what's going on, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When was the first time you talked to the defense?
The first time I spoke with the defense was late last week.
And did you contact them or did they contact you?
They contacted me.
Now, the friend that you said you were there with, is that Artika, or am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've seen her, she's been on TV as well, right?
I haven't seen her.
You've heard her describe that the defendant would yell and scream, "Oh my God, my child," and then he would calm down and relax, and then he would start screaming again. Have you heard that description from her?
I haven't heard it from her.
Okay. Now, You stated that she was crying, and that's how you came to find that this was going on. She was the first one to notice this, right?
Yes, sir.
So something had already happened to make her cry, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you came to the scene a little bit later than she did and the others did, correct?
Yes, sir.
So did you know Mr. Patano, the first person to get in that car with the defendant and the child and pull him out?
No, sir.
Okay. So he would have had a better understanding of what had happened right at the moment the child was taken out of the
Objection,
car,
that calls for
correct?
speculation.
I don't think that calls for speculation.
Well, if it's what some other person thought it does.
I'm not asking what he thought.
He wasn't asking what he thought. He's saying he would have a better opportunity to observe. Is that what your question was?
And understand what had happened in the car at the time they pulled the child out.
Overrule the objection.
You would agree he would have a better opportunity, correct?
Anyone there first?
Okay. Anybody that got there before you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Including Artica.
Yes, sir.
Now, you stated that y'all had gone to lunch. You said it was a little bit after. Well, tell me, was it 2, 3? Do you remember?
I know it was after 2. I took a late lunch that day.
Was it possible that it was 3?
I can't say.
Possible that it was 4?
When I took lunch,
When you actually came upon the scene?
I would say it was around 4, a little after.
So it was actually, isn't it correct that it was 4:25 when this car pulled into the parking lot?
I'm not certain.
Okay. Now, did you see this other person, a person other than the father, trying to perform CPR on this child?
There were 2.
Now, did you ever see the defendant or hear him call 911?
I can't say that he did.
Now, you said use Cooper's name. How did you know his name?
It was on the media. It was online.
So you've seen this online and seen it in the news as well before you come to testify today, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you stated that the police, it took them about 20 or 30 minutes to get to the scene, correct?
Give or take.
Okay. Would you be surprised that police were immediately on the scene because they were looking for entering autos, crimes at that time, and they were there right when the guy pulled over?
That would be difficult to agree to because I was there and I didn't see them right away.
Okay. Is it possible that they were there within a minute or 2?
No.
Not possible. You would agree that the records of the 911 calls and any police objective record would probably be a better record than your memory, right?
Calls for speculation.
Sustained, but I don't know what relevance of what his recollection is today matters anyway.
And you stated that the You know what, Judge? That's all I have. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Judge.
You may step down, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else, Mr. Kilgore?
Call Alex Hall.
Come right up here, sir.
Raise your right hand for me, please. You do so solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to present today before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Mr. Hall, if you would please tell us your name.
It's James Alex Hall,
And where do you work?
Home Depot.
All right, and do you know Ross Harris?
Correct.
How do you know him?
We went to school together. We worked together.
Okay. Went to school at, you mean you went to college together?
Correct.
Okay. And you worked together at Home Depot?
Correct.
How long have you known him?
Since sophomore year of college.
And you have a professional relationship with him because you work for the same company?
Correct.
And do you have a business relationship with him outside of Home Depot?
We run a small web development business together. Correct.
Web development business?
Correct.
What's the name of that?
9th Hour Development.
Okay. And is that a new startup? type
Yes.
company?
Yeah, I think we've been around for 2-3 months now.
Okay. The day that we're here about, June the 18th, did you have any interaction with Ross on that day?
Yes.
All right. Tell us about the first time during the day where you had some interaction with Ross.
So as I've stated previously, we chat pretty constantly because of our business, so we're always in need of talking to each other, so we keep an open chat log together. I don't know exactly when I talked to him, but I know it was that morning. Probably around 9:30, if I had to guess.
Okay. And who all's on the chat log?
So myself, Ross, Winston Milling, and Jason Abdo, we're all partners together.
Winston Milling and Jason Abdo?
Correct.
Okay. And on this particular day, and just to make clear, you're in a different building than Ross.
Correct. So I'm in the main building, and he's in an offshoot called the Treehouse.
Okay. And during this particular day, you were chatting back and forth amongst the four of you. And was there anything particular y'all were chatting about?
We wanted to go see a movie that day.
Okay. And didn't make a plan.
Correct. That was kind of the main focus. That and lunch and whatever else.
Okay. And is that a typical kind of conversations that y'all might be chatting about during the day?
I'd say so. I mean, nothing serious. Maybe if it has something to do with the business, we chat about that, but generally not during work hours.
Okay.
We keep it light.
All right. And by the way, this chat log, did you print that and provide that to?
That was Winston.
Okay. Winston provided that to the police department?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell us about lunch. What was the plan for y'all to go to lunch?
In the sense that we just kind of said, hey, let's go to lunch, and then we discuss possible places to go, and then we landed on Publix.
Okay. It was like any other day?
Yeah.
Okay. And who picked who up?
I picked Ross up.
So you're driving, you pick Ross up,
Correct.
and where's Winston?
Well, I sit next to Winston at work in the main building, so we always go together.
Okay. And y'all drove to lunch?
Correct.
Where'd you go?
Publix.
Okay. And how was Ross acting that day? Was he acting normal, or was he acting squirrely in some way?
I mean, I wouldn't say abnormal in any way. I would say normal as you could be.
Okay.
Nothing stuck out. Nothing was weird.
Okay. Was he acting overly anxious or overly panicked about anything?
No.
Okay. What kind of conversation did you have during lunch?
I think we talked about movies. I mean, it was light. I mean, there was nothing.
Okay.
I mean, I honestly can't remember the exact details of what we talked about. You know, just shoot the shit. Sorry.
Could we move along, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Kilgore?
Yes, Judge. Look, was there anything unusual about the way he was acting that day that stuck out to you?
No.
It was a regular day?
Yep.
All right. So, after lunch, where did you go?
Home Depot.
All right. And which Home Depot?
The one across from Publix. One across from Publix.
Why'd you go to Home Depot?
Ross needed light bulbs.
Ross needed light bulbs. All right. And so all y'all went in together to get light bulbs.
Correct.
How long were you in there?
10 minutes.
Came back out, and he had his light bulbs, right?
Correct.
By the way, is getting light bulbs something that y'all had planned before lunch?
No. I think it was something that came up at lunch. I don't think it was going to be planned.
Okay. All right. And so you leave, you're driving, and did Ross ask you to drop him off at his car?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see him get out of his did you see him approach and get into his car?
Approached, yes. Get in, no.
Okay. And did he have the light bulbs in his hand?
I believe he did, yeah. I think that was the whole purpose of him going to his car.
Okay. Well, did he try to in any way dissuade you from not driving up too close to his car?
I mean, I drove as close as you would reasonably to drop someone off at their car.
Well, was there anything at all remarkable or unusual about the way he was asking you to drop him off at his car?
Nope.
Was there a plan later that day when y'all were going to go to the movie? Was one of you going to go ahead of time and purchase the tickets?
So the general plan was that we'd all kind of meet there together individually.
Okay.
Winston had to meet with his wife, and I think it was more of just, we weren't going to wait on each other to get there. If someone got there first, and they would buy tickets.
Okay. And who was going to do you know who was supposed to get there first to buy?
I think Winston was going to get there first to buy his wife's tickets because he had something going on, but then I was going to buy Ross's ticket.
Okay. And is this the theater, in fact, that's right there near the Acres Mill shopping center area?
Yeah, right on.
And it's near Cinco?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that restaurant, but
Okay.
I think it's in that area, yeah.
All right. And Ross never showed up?
Correct.
Did you know why?
Nope.
Did y'all start trying to hunt him down?
Yep, a little bit. I mean, I texted him on the group chat, and then I called him a few times, and his phone was off.
Okay.
You say his phone was off?
Correct. You call someone, goes right to voicemail. I assumed it was off. I don't know for a fact that it was off.
Don't assume, just tell us what
All right.
Would this have been after the movie?
So, because I texted him during the movie, and then we didn't show up 30 minutes later. I stepped out to call him.
Now, did you know Cooper? Did you ever observe any interaction between Ross and Cooper?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I mean-
In what settings?
His house.
At Ross's house?
Mm-hmm. We'd gone over there a time or two to discuss business. We'd gone over there for fun once or twice.
Okay.
Go to dinner, that kind of stuff, and I saw Cooper, so.
And did Ross and Cooper appear to you to have a good father-son bond?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did he appear to you to be a loving father?
Absolutely, yeah.
Did he appear to you to love his son?
Yeah, absolutely. He said it all the time.
What do you mean?
He said he loved his son all the time. He said his son was very important to him.
Okay. Was he the kind of guy that would talk about his kid to the point that other people were getting tired of it?
Probably.
Is that the kind of dad that he was?
You said to talk about his son to the point where people get tired of him, correct?
Right?
Yeah. He talked about him a lot.
You ever talk about, man, if I didn't have a kid, the life I could live? You ever talk about anything like that?
No, it was kind of the opposite of that.
What do you mean?
So it was more like, your life changed when you get a kid, and I can't believe how much you can love someone and stuff like that.
That's the way Ross Harris talked about his son Cooper?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
How you doing, Mr. Hall?
Good, how you doing?
So you know Mr. Harris basically from working a little bit in a social setting, correct?
And college.
Okay, in college. And that was Alabama, right?
Correct.
We won't hold that against you. That day, you said there was nothing abnormal, correct?
Correct.
Okay, he was acting perfectly normal. At lunch, before lunch,
Yep.
and after lunch while y'all were waiting to go to the movie. At least he seemed normal through the chats and texts and things of that nature. Okay, did you have any knowledge during that time that he was actually chatting with about 6 different women about sex?
No.
Did he ever mention that he did that?
Nope.
Would that surprise you about him?
Yes.
So if that is proven, you don't know everything about Mr. Harris, do you? And obviously you would be aware that he actually chatted some of these women about exposing himself and his child being in the same room.
It's not relevant to anything.
This is a fact witness. Sustained
Thank you, Judge.
objection.
So going back about the movie, were you the person that he had talked via message about 3:45 about when he was going to get there?
Yeah, I think, because we all can see the same message. It's not like a direct one-to-one.
I got you. It's like a group, so everybody gets to see it. Okay. And At that point, around 3:45, he in fact said he was going to be late to the movie, correct?
Yeah.
The movie was at 5.
Yep.
And he said this to you, or the group, about 3:45, he was going to be late to the movie.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Now, when he talked about, or you talked about the car and approaching the defendant's car, you drove up, pulled, I guess, as close as a normal person would, correct? You didn't park on the other side of the parking lot, you didn't just drive right up to the front of it, right?
No.
Okay. And you said you saw him get out of the car and walk toward his car, but you never saw him open the door and get in it, correct?
Mm-mm.
So he obviously waited until you were passed before he did that, correct?
I don't know about waiting,
Well, it didn't happen until you were passed, correct?
in the sense that I wasn't watching him do it, yes.
Okay. And the light bulbs, I believe you said there were 6 light bulbs. Do you know how many he bought?
No. I mean, it sounds about right. A box of light bulbs.
Right. And light bulbs are pretty fragile, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't throw those around, do you?
No.
That's all I have.
Any redirect?
I don't have any.
You may step down. We've been going over 2 hours. The court's going to have to take a brief recess for about 5 minutes.